What's your name? Alex. Everyone say hello, Alex. Alex, over the course of the next hour, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. And all I want you to do is answer them honestly, fairly, without any fear of judgment. You're not going to judge him for his answers, are you? No. Right. Alex, question 1 of 2, if that's all right. Question 1. What is your favourite racism? No, just generally your favourite racism. Don't have an answer, Alex, dickhead! I'll tell you why I'm asking, right? Because I want to tell you all about my 3 favourite racisms. 3 instances of racism that happened in my life that altered the course of the way that I view the world, and I reacted to them in a way that people didn't really expect. And primarily because they were fucking hilarious. Right? First one happened at a party in Shoreditch in East London. It was 3 a.m. I was getting ready for the next stage of the evening, you know. Ooh, ooh. So I'm standing at the bottom of the stairs, and there's 2 white girls to the top of the stairs. One of them had a birthday sash on. I looked at her and I said, happy birthday. She's like, oh my God, thanks, babe. And she came down, gave me a kiss on either cheek, tickled my balls. She's from Dagenham, you know what it's like, right? Then a friend came down, and then this bloke came down, right? He obviously knew the girls. He looked at the girls, looked at me, looked back at the girls, and then said, what you doing talking to this fat Asian? The fat bit hurt. Because that's something in my control. I know that's something I should change about myself. I was a chubby kid, chubby teenager. So chubby, in fact, my name's Eshaan Akbar, and at school my nickname was Snack Bar. The kids are mean, but fucking hilarious, right? But there's a want and a need for me to lose weight, right? The want is purely aesthetic. It's a vanity thing, I can be honest. I have moments of vanity. I want to wear nicer clothes, look the part. Recently bought this shirt, do you like it? It's all right, isn't it? Little fact about this, thank you. Little fact about this shirt, right? Little fact about this shirt. This is a XXL slim fit. What the fuck does that mean? Who's that for? There's also a need. There's a need for me to lose weight. The need is this. I'm in my late 30s now. I started doing blood tests and all sorts to make sure that things are working all right. I did some blood tests recently. The results came back. And London, I'm fucked. Right? I've got high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and possibly diabetes. And the doctor said, it's because you're Asian. Do you know what makes it worse? He's fucking Asian! So when he first said it to me, at first I was like, oh my God, this is obviously a hate crime. I don't know what to do, fucking hell. But he's Asian. What does this mean? And I started thinking, and this is what you need to do as people. We need to think about the things people are saying, no matter how bad they sound. The first time, when you do a bit of thinking, you might start understanding someone else's perspective. I was like, hold on a minute. This guy said, I've got these problems because I'm Asian. Maybe he's got a point. I'm an Asian man. I went to do some blood tests. They showed high results for high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high diabetes. What are Asians known for? Fucking smashing tests. I did the blood test and got fucking everything. And when I was like, see, I told you, medicine, you can do it. Fuck this comedy bullshit. He doesn't have an accent, it's just funnier that way. But it's true, though. There are differences, though. Culturally, there are differences in the way people do food, right? I'm a born and bred Englishman, born and bred proud Englishman. But there's one thing I've never understood, and it's how white people do food. It makes no fucking sense to me. One of my best friends, Andy, right? White guy, Andy. He bought a flat in Belsize Park, North London. He's earning. He called me up and he said, bro, I'm going to have a flat warming, but before the flat warming, why don't you come over for a bit of lunch? I said, OK, fantastic, I'd love to come over. Sat down at his beautiful dining table overlooking the park, right? He goes to the kitchen, some beautiful smells emanate from the kitchen. He brings out a lovely, freshly baked loaf of bread from the local artisanal bakery. Alex, you would have loved this bread. It was soft, it was crusty, it was warm, it was everything you want from bread, right? Then he went in and he brought out some cheese from a recent trip he made to France. Bread and cheese, classic combination, put them together. Then he brought out leek and potato soup. Perfect for an autumnal evening. Bread, cheese, soup, put it together. And then he brought out nothing else. I had no idea the theme of the dinner was fucking homeless soup kitchen. But we also eat food differently just because we're human beings. It doesn't have to be around race lines or gender lines. We just do things differently. Have you ever noticed there's 4 types of people when it comes to finishing off, say, like a packet of crisps or a Bombay mix? There's 4 types of people. There's the finger dabbers, I think that's a shit one. A lot of ethnic minorities do this. I call it the face slappers. Do you know these people? They get the crumbs. They pour the crumbs in the other hand. And then they fucking slap it in the mouth. Who does that? Yeah. There's the cunnilinguists. Finish up a packet of crisps, fold open the packet, and then... Who does that? You're lying. And then there's the ones that I don't trust. The fucking deep throaters. Those people, they get the bag, lift the bag up. Who does that? Yeah, you dirty bastards. When I got this feedback, right, that I've got all these health conditions, I started looking at diet plans, exercise plans, ways to lose weight. And I realised that different cultures and communities do actually have different attitudes to weight loss and exercise, right? So a lot of my friends are liberal middle-class white people, because I'm doing well. And what's interesting is liberal middle-class white people have a proclivity for certain physical activities that I find entirely baffling, right? They like walking. Just walking. They like camping. They like Tough Mudder. The things that refugees do to survive, they make it their leisure I mean, not white refugees, obviously, they're allowed to fly here. I can see the brown people clapping, all the white people like, no, that's not right, actually, that's terrible. It's so funny, when the Ukrainian refugee crisis happened, like Asian and black people, when we saw the way Britain was trying to help out Ukrainian refugees, I promise you, Asian and black people were like, fuck these refugees, man. But also, the thing with refugees, the thing is, we as a society, we hear certain words, you hear the word refugee, and I think on the whole, as a society, generally speaking, I want to believe that we extend a bit of sympathy to them. But it gets to the point where we think, we don't see refugees as human anymore. We think refugees are incapable of being wankers like the rest of us. Did you see the story, right, about these 4 Ukrainian families? They're getting bombed out of Kiev by Russian forces. They have to leave everything they know and love behind and come over to the UK. My country, the United Kingdom, lends out a helping hand and houses them in Birmingham. 4 days. 4 days, these Ukrainian families who came over to the UK to try and get some support, 4 days in Birmingham, and they were like, nah, fuck this, we need to go back to Kiev. This is a shithole, bruv. And you know what? They're right. They are I thought I'd really be into outdoor activities, right? Because when I was younger, I used to be in the Boy Scouts. Was anyone here in the Boy Scouts? Yeah, did you get fiddled as well? Was anyone here in the Brownies? Oh my God, me too! Fuck off. I was very good at the Boy Scouts, man. There's only 2 things I was amazing at in the Boy Scouts, right? The first was, whenever the scout leader asked me to do any kind of physical activity, I would piss myself on demand. It was fucking amazing. Scout leader would be like, Eshaan, go and climb that wall. I'd be like, I'm doing push-up, it's not happening. The only other thing I was good at, right, was playing to stereotype, because I was really good at sewing on the badges, me and 60 Bangladeshi children. I wish I'd taken the Boy Scouts more seriously, man. Because I feel like men of my generation, we're not like men of my dad and my granddad's generation. They're self-starters. They were resourceful. They knew when things broke, they tried their best to fix it. We're not like that. When you're in the Boy Scouts, you learn all these amazing life skills, like how to start a fire, how to build a tent. Like, I wish I learned how to untie, you know those knots on those Chinese takeaway carrier bags? Who the fuck? Who is tying those bags? They've got the energy of someone who's like, you can't eat anymore, you fat bastard, stop eating. When the guy said, what are you doing talking to this fat Asian? Right, like I said, the fat bit hurt. But the Asian bit seemed unnecessary. He said it with such venom that a part of me wished he'd actually used a racial slur instead. And at 3 a.m, when I'm ready to have a nice time, go out to enjoy the rest of the evening, I don't want to have this realization that my Asianness, is never fucking coming off. No matter how much I tell myself I'm born and raised in England, my Asianness is the first thing that people see. That and the Romesh thing. And I'm really proud of my Asian background. I've got such a beautiful mix. My dad's from Pakistan, and my mum is from Bangladesh, which means I can make a fantastic pair of jeans. And I love growing up in a mixed Pakistani Bangladeshi house, got the benefit of all these amazing experiences, all the cultural experiences, all the musical experiences, all the gastronomical experiences. Alex, Thursday, our house, fucking curry night. Like every fucking night. But I've got to be honest, the thing that was tough about growing up in a mixed Pakistani Bangladeshi household in the 80s and 90s in the United Kingdom was the racism from my parents to each other. They spent their whole life advising me not to marry the person from the other nationality, right? On spurious racist grounds. My dad would be like, never marry a Bangladeshi. They stink. And they can't swim, that's why they drown in the floods. And my mum would be like, all right, yeah, never marry a Pakistani. They fix cricket matches. And they killed 3 members of my family. I'm like, what? You went with the cricket matches first? But growing up, right, I felt like I had to choose a side between Pakistan and Bangladesh. And in truth, I never really exhibited the characteristics to choose either, right? For a start, I was too good a swimmer to be Bangladeshi. I never actually acted on the impulse of finding my cousin attractive to be Pakistani. Even though he's really fit, whack-ass. Goes to the gym and that, innit, bro? Fucking lifting and that, bro. Yeah, sexy. Here's what's interesting about being an Asian person in the UK, right? Asians, we're the majority minority in the UK. We're the biggest ethnic minority group in the UK. But people still find us a bit of a weird entity. And I think it's because you can interact with Asian people across all socioeconomic strata. You can have an Asian person who's a minicab driver or a corner shop owner. You can have an Asian person who's a doctor. You can even have an Asian person who's the fucking Prime Minister, right? And it messes with people. So people will have weird conversations and weird observations. The most common question I get as an Asian person in the UK is, hey man, Eshaan, with a dad from Pakistan and your mum from Bangladesh, who do you support in the cricket? No one ever asked me this question about football. I was like, okay, I've got to have an answer for this. I've got a very simple philosophy. When Pakistan play, I support Pakistan because my dad actually played at junior level for the Pakistan national team. Pretty cool reason to support them. When Bangladesh play, I support Bangladesh because my mum's from there. Usually they're the underdogs in the game. I like an underdog story. I love my mum. I support Bangladesh. The only other team I support is anyone that plays India. Fuck them! These fucking vegetarian dickheads. Go fuck yourself. Any Indians in? Go fuck yourself! Thank you. Thank you. Kashmir is ours. Okay. When the guy dropped that, what are you doing talking to this fat Asian? It's 3 in the morning, man. Like I said, 3 in the morning. I didn't know how to react. I was just out there trying to enjoy myself. But before I could react, the girl with the birthday sash grabs him by the throat. Girl with the birthday sash grabs him by the throat, because hell hath no fury like a white girl scorned on behalf of someone else. She grabs him by the throat, her friend starts crying and hugging me. I was like, thank God for racism, I'm getting laid. This is fucking sick, bro. It turns out they don't fuck brown men. Don't know if you know this. There's a cabal of white women who will actively choose not to have sex with Asian men. Yeah, mad. Maybe not in this room. Some of you come to watch me, you might want to fuck me, I've no idea. But there are white women who will actively choose not to have sex with brown men. I was on dating apps for 2.5 years. 2.5 years. And I got the grand total of 0 matches. And I said yes to everyone every day. And I was on all of them. I was on Tinder, Muslim version, Minder, Hinge, Muslim version, Minge. And to get a match on a Muslim dating app, you've got to swipe east. West for infidels. And you get frustrated because it's just a pair of eyes after eyes after... Got no matches, man. And it started really playing with my confidence. I was like, man, I don't understand why I'm not getting a match. Because, look, I know I'm not the best looking person in the world. I get it, right? But when I scrub up, I'm a solid 7. What the? No. All right, hey. Okay, you're right, hey. So I started thinking to myself, what? Okay, the cards are slightly stacked against me. I'm an overweight guy. I'm happy to be Asian. I'm from a Muslim background. Is it my fault? And men start blaming themselves. And eventually I realised it wasn't my fault I wasn't getting these matches. It's yours. It's society's fault. Because society doesn't present Asian men as viable sexual options. We're the majority minority in the UK. Globally, there's fucking loads of us. But Asian men are never presented to you as a viable sexual option, and this has been going on for any brown representation for years. I started thinking, hold on, globally, who are the sexiest Asian men globally right now? Here's all I could come up with, right? Riz Ahmed. Fine. Dev Patel. All right. A former India cricket captain, Virat Kohli. All right, that was one bloke going, fucking yes. London, there's a few Asians in the room. Let's try and get to 5. Globally sexy Asian men. Ranveer Singh, the Bollywood actor. Give me a cheer if you know who Ranveer Singh, the Bollywood actor, is. 10 people. Globally, come on. Imran Khan is 72 years old, but that doesn't stop him being sexy. I just don't think he's sexy now. Who? Hrithik Roshan, okay, another Bollywood actor. All the white people are like, why are you saying... This isn't too bad. Like, I expected better, I'll be honest, because there's a few Asian... In Leeds, they started naming random Asian people they knew personally. Oh, bloody hell, Rajan corner shop is bloody gorgeous, he is. He should be a fucking model, that one. My favourite was in Bury. Someone from the back went, Abu Hamza! Abu Hamza is a terrorist with a hook for a hand. Asian men just aren't presented as viable sexual options. And unless it happens, people don't realise it might be a viable sexual option. And it started getting to me. I was like, shit, man, no matter what I do, I could call myself born and bred English, no matter how anglicised I am. This ain't ever coming off. And when I wasn't getting these matches, I started getting a bit into that. I think all men have these moments. We can be honest. We have moments where we lose self-confidence. You're like, shit, man, I'm not going to get any matches. I'm fat. I'm Asian. I'm from a Muslim background. They don't think Asians are sexy. And in my mid-20s, life threw a spanner in the works. Because in my mid-20s, I became a hearing-impaired person. There you go. That's my hearing aid. Which means when I go for a job interview, I can see an HR manager in the corner going, tick, tick, tick. Please be gay, please be gay, please be gay. Complete disclosure, right? These are brand new hearing aids. Got them 4 weeks ago for the tour. Have a guess how much they were. Why would you fucking shoot so fucking high, you dickhead? £2,500. £2,500. Bluetooth connected, directional control. I told them I'm a comedian. They're like, oh my God, you're going to hear more laughter. But it's weird. I think it's incongruous to people to see a person relatively young, fit and well, not fit, but when you see someone with a hearing aid, you imagine someone a lot older. So people will say weird things to me because they see that wear a hearing aid. People will come up to me and like, oh my God, Eshaan, it is so interesting that you wear a hearing aid. Because I think I'm actually a bit deaf too. What do I do with this information? And you can't do that with any other disability or aid, can you? Like, we can't walk up to someone in a wheelchair and say, oh, mate, it's so interesting that you use a wheelchair, because when I drink, I feel a bit legless as well. You can't... But also, I feel like I can say this as a signed, paid-up member of the disabled community, right? We as a society, we mollycoddle disabled people way too much. The moment we see someone with a disability, we think they're incapable of thinking pretty much the same way as the rest of us. Some disabled people are wankers. I've met them, right? And here's the thing. I can be honest enough with you, London, to admit to you that when I see someone with a more visible disability than I've got, I get jealous. of how much clout and respect they've got in the disability game. Because look, none of you respect deafness as a proper disability. None of you do. I can't legitimately enter the Paralympics, can I? There's blind football, wheelchair basketball. A deaf race would be a line of men just waiting to start. Because my deafness is the only thing stopping me from being an athlete, do you know what I mean? But laughter hurt, fuck you. I turned deaf in my mid-20s, man. And I had 5 operations. I had 5 operations across both my ears under general anaesthetic for 5 hours each. And what they did is they cut my ear here, they pulled my ear down, went in and took away all the soft bone inside both my ears. So you guys will have the hammer, the anvil. I've got none of that shit. They've been replaced with titanium plates in both my ears. So that's what I've got, titanium plates in both my ears, which, when you look like this and want to travel internationally... I've been naked at immigration, like, they put bombs in ears now? Fuck me! It's too much! But this is the thing, this happened in my mid-20s. I wasn't born deaf, I turned deaf in my mid-20s, and life has a way of doing this. The thing that unites every single person sat here in this room, doesn't matter about colour, class, creed, doesn't matter. Something has happened in each of our lives that's altered the course of the way you imagine your life to go. So all we can do is try and find the positives in all this bullshit that life throws our way. And the positive of my deafness is this. I get a disabled person's rail card. Thank you. It's fucking sick. Get me a third off rail travel. And when I got it, I grew way too confident. I was like, oh my God, Eshaan, you got a disabled person's rail card. You're Asian. You love a benefit. Go and get a blue badge, bruv. So I walked into the local council office, a bit too ably. I should have, Rosie Jones that shit. Hey! Listen. She's a very good friend of mine. She's a very good friend of mine. I talked to her about that joke, and she took a long time to say it was okay. It was... So I walked into the local council office, right? Bit too ably. And the guy behind the counter, he's waving at me, right? Really excited. Because, are you here for a blue badge? I'm like, yeah, I am. He goes, don't worry, sir. I'll sort one out for you. You know when you see someone in a job that's so enthusiastic about a job that you think yourself, there's no way someone can be this excited about this. So it puts a spring in your step. So when he was waving at me, I fucking skipped. Huh? I turned up at his desk, and he sits me and I go, sir, are you here for a blue badge? I said, yes. He goes, don't worry, sir. I'll sort you out. And then he pulls out a form. And on the form, you have to tick the reason why you're giving someone a blue badge, right? And he ticks off weight-related mobility issues. That's why he was excited. There is no way that's an option on the form. He knew he was going to fuck me up. And here's the thing, something happens to all of us when we start working in offices, turns us all into wankers. Before I did this job, I did some crazy jobs, man. The worst person I ever worked with was a stupid bitch called Sarah. It's always someone called Sarah, I don't know why. Huh? Sarah went on a beach holiday, absolutely fine. Delighted for you, Sarah, right? She comes back from this holiday with the glow of someone who obviously had a wonderful time. But what she did that I didn't appreciate, I was sat at my desk, minding my own business, earning an honest day's living. Uninvited, Sarah walks up to me, puts her arm out, and starts comparing her tan. As she did this, she said, I'm nearly there. I said, Sarah, what the fuck are you playing at? That doesn't make any sense, because you are a black lady. The disabled person's rail card has been a huge boon for me, man. Because to be able to get a third off rail travel, to be able to travel the country, do this job, to eventually one way fulfill your dream of playing the Leicester Square Theatre on your debut fucking tour. And we can talk at great length about the prices, about the efficiency, all of that shit. I don't want to talk about any of that. Before they change any of that, I want them to change one thing and one thing only. And it's this fucking announcement that's on every train service. See it, say it, sorted. Now, if you haven't heard this announcement, if you see something suspicious, call the British Transport Police or text us on 61016. 61016 is my fucking PIN number now, I hear it. Now, the reason I hate this announcement is because when they tell us to look out for something suspicious, London, we know what they really fucking mean. If you see a brown bloke with a rucksack, give us a fucking call. Now, I'd never like to see it say it's sorted. For a start, it just raises fear and suspicion constantly. Second, it doesn't get to the heart of the issue, what they really want us to do, which is racial profiling. And third and most importantly, see it, say it, sorted doesn't fucking rhyme. This upset me. I said, right, I've got to come up with some alternative options. Take it to the people, reflect the reality of the situation, and make it linguistically more appealing, right? So I've come up with two. By way of cheer, London, you can tell me which one you prefer, OK? So option number one, to replace see it, say it, sorted. Seen a muso? If so, let us know. Got a couple of takers, all right. Option number two. Don't be wacky, reporter. Alex, what's the answer? If you're wondering, because I can see some quite liberal-minded people here, the answer is packy. It's an interesting word, the P word, to me. It's an interesting word. Because that word has been used pejoratively against people from Pakistan and Bangladesh and India and anyone fucking brown our whole lives in this country. In the 50s, 60s, 70s, people used to go out fucking packy bashing. Day of school, day at the factory, fucking get out there. Find some packies and bash their heads in. And it's a word that I think doesn't cut through ears in England as much as, say, other racial slurs do. Happens in the mainstream. I was watching a show last year called This Is Going to Hurt. Who's seen it? A couple of you. Now, This Is Going to Hurt is a show on the BBC. It's a show based on a book written by a former junior doctor and former comedian called Adam Kay. And he highlights the life of a junior doctor. In the first episode of the first series on this prime-time BBC show, there's a white woman who's pregnant, right? And she makes it very clear she doesn't want to have a black nurse. She doesn't say anything specifically racist, but she makes it absolutely clear, I don't want to have a black nurse. Later in the episode, the white woman gives birth, an Asian doctor is holding the baby, and the woman in the script says, I don't want a packy holding my baby. That's a scripting decision. These scripts have to go through a shitload of checks before they're allowed to be broadcast. Someone saw that and said, yeah, fine. I promise you, with every penny I've got, they wouldn't dare to drop the N-bomb on that primetime sitcom. There was no outrage, there was no anger, and it fucking confused me. And by the way, I'm not here trying to start a race war because we would fucking lose. But it made me think, why is it that the P word just seems to just wash over English ears, but certain other racial slurs, you can't fucking touch them? And the second experience I want to tell you involves the use of that word. When you do this job, you have the great privilege of travelling to amazing cities and towns across the UK. London, Bristol, Manchester, Leeds. Amazing cities where you go, do you know what? This is what is so great about this fucking country. When I go to those places, I think to myself, I wouldn't want to be an ethnic minority in pretty much any other country in the world. I wouldn't want to be a Muslim in France. I wouldn't want to be a black person in America. This is a good country for people who are from ethnic minority backgrounds. I like it. But then you also get to go to the rest of the United Kingdom. And you see these pale, translucent motherfuckers. And you think to yourself, oh boy, this is where they make them. Fuck me. I had to do such a gig in a place called Shenfield in Essex. I do this gig, right? The gig was at the top of a hill. I had to climb this hill from the station to the venue. As I climbed this hill, I learned something about myself I did not know was a thing. I suffer from undermoob sweat. I had these perfect moon crescents forming just here. It was like a sign from Islam telling me to come back. I got to the gig, the community centre in the middle of Shenfield, 450 people, much like this room. Everybody 100% white. Not a problem. This country's 86% white. That's likely to happen. In the front row, stage right, 4 lads sat there, neck tattoos. British Bulldog, and the letters E-D-L. I thought to myself, oh yeah, home gig. Thought, right. The MC couldn't pronounce my name. Of course he couldn't. Happens quite frequently. I don't mind it. So what he did is got the audience to start clapping, start cheering, and in between the claps and cheers, he mumbled something about my name. I stepped onto the stage, and I promise you, London, as soon as I stepped onto the stage, fucking pin drop silence. As I walked to that microphone, it was the first time in my 32 years existing as a human being that felt like a foreigner in my own country. I sincerely hope none of you ever feel that. As I'm walking towards the microphone thinking, there are 450 people here. They're meant to be my fellow countrymen and women. But they do not want me to be on this stage, and they probably don't want me to be in this country. And I thought to myself, all I can do is try and do the gig, make sure it goes all right, take my money, and fucking leave. How did the gig go? I fucking smashed it, bruv. Yeah? Of course I did. I'm a good comedian, turns out racist, amazing sense of humour. Some of the best people to perform for. I was like, this is fucking great. Did the gig, went outside, about to order a taxi, and I'm standing there as I'm ordering a taxi. A man starts walking towards me in the darkness. As he gets closer, I get a better sense of who this man is. He's about 6'1", in his mid to late 60s, tanned, leathery, weathered skin. He looks me straight in the eyes. He goes, "Oi!" Then he realised he was a bit too far away. So he walked towards me the way a lot of these people do, you know, like pigeons. Came up square to my face and says, "Oi, was you the packy that was on earlier?" I'd not heard that word used like that against me since 1997, when my dad called me one. But when he said it to me, I was like, hold on a minute. In my brain, I was thinking, I've got the audacity of equality here. I smashed that gig. I shouldn't have to smash the gig, but I smashed that gig. I surely earned the right for you not to have to use that word when you're talking to me. Surely you could offer me that respect. And I thought, you know what? No, fuck this. I'm going to make a stand. So when he looked at me and said, "Was you the packy that was on earlier?" I looked him square back. I didn't blink, didn't flinch, not a bead of sweat down my brow, and went, yeah, I was. Yeah, it was me, yeah. It was me. He goes, "Mate, I thought you were fucking hilarious. Me and my mates thought you were so funny. Never seen anything like that. You're probably my favourite Asian." He didn't say comedian. He also said, probably. Who else is in the running? And I'll be honest, when he said I was probably his favourite Asian, I had a hard-on. Fuck me. That's all I want. All I want from a career is to be everyone's favourite Asian. That is it. When your grandkids and their grandkids ask you, "Oh, what's an Asian?" you go, "Fucking Eshaan Akbar's an Asian." And by the way, all Asian black people want the same thing. Next time, just see when an Asian or black person is hanging out with all their white mates and what they do when they see someone from the same race walking towards them. Asian guy, me, hanging out with my best white friends, Adam, Carl, Dan. We're having a lovely time, drinking some bevs, having a great time. I see an Asian man walking towards me, I'm like, "You can fuck off, bruv! These are my white people, go and find your own dickhead. I've got this on lock." I loved it. At that point, me and Dave, we started hanging out, having some bevs, exchanging some stories. He told me about some time he spent in Tenerife, which I think was code for jail. And after about 5 or 6 drinks, we're getting quite relaxed, and suddenly Dave says, "Mate, I feel like I want to tell you something." I said, "Dave, men should talk about what's in their heart. They should talk about their mental health. I'm going to be best man at your 5th wedding. You tell me whatever you want to tell me, Dave." He goes, "All right, here goes. I like you. It's the other ones I've got a problem with. Can you have a word?" I used to look at Dave at this point and go, Dave, we don't have a WhatsApp group. That's not... But here's the thing, London. We fucking do have a WhatsApp group. And we bitch about your stupid soup. That's what we do. How do we feel about Rishi Sunak in the room? Yeah, a couple of boos from the racists, okay. I love Rishi Sunak. It's been incredible. Because ever since Rishi Sunak got elected, I'm going up and down this country to white people saying, get the fuck out of my country. Get the fuck. History will judge Rishi Sunak as a British Prime Minister, but in this present moment, we have to accept it's unfathomable to us, to me certainly, that we've got a British Asian Prime Minister of the UK. They've got a British Asian First Minister of Scotland. It's absolutely baffling. I wonder what it's like for my dad. My dad came to this country in the 1960s from Pakistan. He did every job possible under the sun to put a roof over our heads. There are sons and daughters of immigrants in the room right now. We cannot begin to fathom the world our parents and grandparents inhabited when they came to this shit, godforsaken, wet country, bruv. They turned up on these shores and they had to see signs that said no Pakis, no blacks, no dogs, no Irish. My dad, if he walked on the wrong side of the road, people would throw beer bottles at him and bacon at him because he was a Muslim man and they knew that would offend him. He had to put his head down and just try and do his fucking job. My dad, this Pakistani man who came to this country in the 1960s from Pakistan, he's been stabbed by members of the National Front 3 times. He's quite an annoying man, to be fair. But I wonder what it's like for my dad and his friends and his peers to have gone through all of that struggle and all that strife, turn the telly on, see a British Asian Prime Minister and look at him and say, fuck him, he's Indian, he's a wanker, bruv, he can fuck off. Not interested. My dad is my hero. I want to say that very clearly. He's my hero. And I don't think a lot of men get the opportunity to talk about the men that shaped us, because I think it feels like a bit of a weird thing to admit. I sometimes look back on my life and I think, you know, when it comes to my deathbed, if I've lived even 10% of the man that my dad is, I'll be like, I did a good job. Because the third experience I want to tell you, it involves my dad, right? My dad, when he came to this country in the 1960s from Pakistan, he was a minicab driver for 15 years. He's now a paramedic. He fucking loves driving, apparently. And my dad's got this weird... Like, when you speak to him, he's got an English accent. Of course he does, came when he was 15. But every so often, the odd word comes out a bit Asian. Debel, cheer, you know, the odd word. But the most interesting thing about my dad, right, is my dad got an English accent. But when he gets angry, my dad turns into Danny fucking Dyer. It is so weird. My dad would talk to me like, tell your mum to be quiet, tell your mum to move the table. No, tell your mum to... Fucking hell, woman, you're doing my nine, what's wrong with ya? Fucking hell! It's really weird. He starts doing the pigeon thing as well. It's fucking... And he's one of these people, he gets angry very quickly, then he calms down. Gets angry very quickly, then he calms down. But this third experience happened in the back of his minicab. It was a Ford Granada. I loved this car. Leather seats, big. I felt like a fucking king in the back of the car. I'm 9 years old. I'm sat in the back. My dad's driving. My mum sat next to him. We're driving down a part of East London called Forest Gate. And we're going down this road, which today has become a one-way road. Back then, it was a two-way road. No one gave a fuck about health and safety. But it's a one-way road. And my dad was driving down, and another car was driving towards him. And somehow the cars got stuck. And the other car door opened, and a white man stepped out. And my dad leaned out the window, and he went, "Oh, bloody hell, don't do that, mate!" Apparently he turned into Mickey Flanagan, I don't know if The guy walked over, leaned over to my dad's side of the car, and just said, "If you don't move your fucking car, I'm going to rape your Paki wife." I was 9 years old. I didn't know what either of those words meant, but I knew something bad had just happened because of the way my dad reacted. A calmness descended upon this man, the likes of which I've never seen before or since. My mum put her hand on his forearm and he slowly just peeled her fingers away. As I tell you the next bit of the story, I've said this on tour so many times, I think to myself, is this a childhood memory that I've made up? Because the next thing I remember, it feels like I'm sitting as a 9-year-old in the back of my dad's Ford Granada, and I look through the windscreen. It's like CCTV footage. Because the next thing I see is my dad walking up to this car, somehow pulling this man out and smacking his fucking head on the bonnet of the car, throwing him on the floor and screaming, "Now rape my packy wife!" I promise you, my dad walked back to the car, he had a Superman cape on. I was like, yes, that's how you deal with this shit. My dad had enough of this bollocks. He's just trying to live his life, and someone decided when I grew older, I understood what happened. Someone said something mad racist and was very insulting to his wife, and he stood up and he was counted. And I said to myself that day, when I grow up, I am going to be counted as Muhammad Akbar's son. That's what I'm going to do. And when you get angry like this, life has an amazing way of giving you an opportunity. 14 years later, life gave me that opportunity. I went to watch football at Dagenham Redbridge Football Club. You're right, my fault. I bought a hot dog. I'm laying up the hot dog with my favourite toppings. Ketchup, mustard, fried onions, classic. White guy walks past me and goes, "Oi! I didn't think Packies ate hot dogs." He's right. But when he said it to me, I got transported to the back of my dad's Ford Granada. I was like, hold on a minute. Hold on. I'm doing the thing you lot keep telling us to do. Integrate. A concept I don't believe in, by the way, because I was born and raised in England. I can't integrate into myself. This is my country. This is all I fucking know. I just happen to have ancestry in other countries. I'm doing the things you lot keep banging on. I'm at a lower league football match, for fuck's sake. I bought a hot dog. I've done all the things you want me to do. And he still decided to. And I was like, this is it. This is my moment. This is the day I become Muhammad Akbar's son. And that night, ladies and gentlemen, I did. Because that night, I wrote an article in The Guardian. It was sick. Because of the kind of stuff that I talk about, right? People get very annoyed with me because I never really fit into the kind of box that they want me to fit into. That's why I call the show The Pretender. I'm never enough of anything for anyone. Now things are going pretty well for me. I'm on my first national tour. I just finished filming Live at the Apollo. I just finished filming a Netflix series called Sex Education. So people will have conversations and say, Eshaan, you know, as an Asian person in this business, you're making waves. Do you have any messages for young Asian comedians and actors who want to follow in your footsteps? And I'm like, yes, my message is this. That ladder is coming with me. Go fuck yourself. Because I'm not here for anyone else. I just want to buy another house. That's it. But there's all this incumbent expectation on me having to represent. When you're from any kind of whatever it is, your race, your gender, your sexuality, you'll suddenly become a representative on behalf of everybody else. And I learn things all the time and have to give opinions on things that I don't give a fuck about or understand. 4 years ago, I learned that I am a person of colour. Someone coloured me in. I had no idea this was a thing, right? So there's all these debates that people of colour have that I don't understand. Like the big one is, make sure people pronounce your name properly. If you've got a non-white name, make sure they pronounce your name properly. I don't give a fuck about this. My name's Eshaan, quite an easy name. A couple of years ago, an old colleague of mine was like, hey mate, they've seen these syllables in your name. Can I call you Eddie? Same number of syllables. But I never got wound up, but because I'm a person of colour, I've been reading, haven't I? And the more I read, the fucking angrier I get. I'm like, oh shit, I'm a person of colour. I should be representing my people. My name is my identity. My name is Eshaan Akbar. What a good, strong, beautiful Muslim name. My name is my identity. I'm going to represent as a person of colour. Get my fucking name right. I'm so angry. I've had up to here. And then I see an Irish name. And I'm like, yo, some names are foreign. They're hard, innit? Shit is hard out here, bruv. Her name is a suggested password. Fuck that for a laugh. I can't do it. I like Irish people, whether it's northern or southern. They're the Packies of Europe. I love them. They went through a famine like Bengalis. It's the same, man. It's the same. Do you have any Irish people in? Welcome. I love you guys. I went to Belfast. Now, Belfast is still the most diverse place in the world, and that's fine. I don't care about this. As long as you've got an Indian restaurant, we're golden, right? I needed some bread. I went to a supermarket, turned the corner in the aisle of the supermarket, and at the other end of the aisle, there he was. One other brown man. And the thing that happened next, London, I can't believe happened, right? Because I saw this one other brown man at the other end of the aisle. My eyes locked with his eyes locked with mine, and at exactly the same time, we both went... Do you understand how angry I was? I couldn't believe it. I saw one other brown man in an unfamiliar place from the same race. I did a fucking head wobble. What the fuck is this, the 1980s? When I was in Belfast, right, I realised there's one thing that annoys people from minority groups, whatever that is, sexuality, race, gender, is when the dominant group, and let's face it, usually it's white men, get a stereotype about our community fucking banged to rights. Because we know you're right and it fucking pisses us off. This will happen to me sometimes, right? I'll do a gig, and after a gig, I'll have a few bevs. After a few bevs, we might go to a club or a bar, and I fucking love a sesh, me. I love a sesh so much, they call me Eshaan Akbar. I love a sesh. Go to a club or bar where they play the kind of music I like, you know, oonts, 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 oonts. I get my favourite cocktail, sex on the beach, oonts, oonts, oonts. I get to a dance floor, cut some shapes, oonts, oonts, oonts. I see the DJ, oonts, oonts. It gives it a... oonts. He's not even Asian, why is he doing that? Oonts, 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 oonts. Immediately changes to... a ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding. I'm standing there, the Uber driver's next to me saying, what do we do here, my friend? What's the plan? I'm like, no, you can't play this one fucking song every time you see us. South Asia's got a rich cultural musical history, actually, going back fucking centuries. How fucking dare you? But me and Raj, our shoulders are going, oh, babe, it's a fucking great... It's a good song, though, isn't it? All this stuff is hard. Representation, getting the things right, it's hard out there. 4 years ago, I got cast in the new series of a show called Spitting Image. Right? It's a show where they get comedians and voice actors to act out British political figures and British public figures, and they make all these puppets, and they act out with the puppets. You never see a human being on screen, just puppets. They called me up and they said, hey, Eshaan Akbar, we'd like you to do some voices on Spitting Image. I said, sure, what voices? They said, we'd like you to do Rishi Sunak, Sajid Javid, can you see a pattern? And Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, 3 things. Number 1, I'm from a part Pakistani, part Bangladeshi background. I don't give a fuck about Modi. I think he's a cunt. Number 2, you've heard me speak for the best part of an hour. I'm a privately educated former banker. I can just as well do Matt Hancock. I can do Dominic Raab. I can do any of these white Tory bastards. No one is seeing me on screen. It's just as plausible. I don't have to do the brown guys. But third, and perhaps most importantly, I am not a voice actor. Alex, question 2 of 2, if I may. If I were to ask you to do the voice of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, what would it sound like, Alex? Alex is like, no, thank you. And the thing is, you're right, because Alex, you walking into that studio is just as good as me walking into that studio. Because I walked into that studio and I went, oh, hello, I'm Narendra Modi! I'm like, oh, it's probably racist, but you're a brown guy, so maybe it's all right. Doesn't make any sense. And the reason we've got into this tangle is we keep telling white people you can't do non-white accents. Who decided that? When did that happen? That the moment a white person does a non-white accent, you're punching down. Surely what you're saying is significantly more important, not the fact that you're doing the accent. Why is it I can hang out with my white mates? We can do an Australian accent. We can do a French accent. We can even do a South African one, but it got to be the right one. But the moment you foray into a little non-white accent, we are so beleaguered, poor black and brown people, we wouldn't be able to handle it. Doesn't make any sense. And I can sense the discomfort. I can sense it. So I thought, OK, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to learn every single accent in the world. Every single accent in the world. And when I go on tour, I'm going to ask people to name the most obscure country they can, and I'll do the accent to prove to you that it's possible. Because doing accents are hard. If you take the time to learn it, the nuances, and sometimes for a comedy show, the caricature of an accent, I think it's doable. Name a country and I'll do the accent for you. North Korea. 2 people said it at the fucking same time. North Korea, okay. East or west? West. North Korea, west, the western region. Okay. Okay. Hey, welcome to North Korea. I recently moved here. I recently moved here from Nigeria. It's a beautiful place. It's actually quite an international world, like anyone can be from anywhere, so... ourselves in a fucking tangle, man. It doesn't make any sense. I keep getting, Eshaan representation. We need more representation of Asian people in the media. Do we? Why? We need more Eshaan Akbar, sure. By all means. But more Asian representation doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for us to force Asian representation on a country that's 86% white for all these days. There's no point having an Asian Superman. We haven't had Asian man yet. This doesn't make any sense. When it comes to representation, it has to be a bit more authentic. We can't force this stuff on you. If you want to improve Asian representation in the UK, we don't need more representation up here in the media. We need more representation down here in the media. We need more representation of Asians in porn. There are no Asians in mainstream porn. Why? There's billions of us, we're sucking. I want to say Asians, you know what I mean. Curry Asian, not noodle. There's a whole genre of porn, right? Called POV. Stands for point of view. Pervert. POV stands for point of view. What they do is they get a camera, a GoPro, stick it on the bloke's head. He presses record, so when you look down, it looks like your penis is having sex with a woman. My whole life, my penis has had to be white or black. And that's not fair because they're both too big. And by the way, I'm not asking for more Asian porn stars. I'm asking for more Asian porn story writers. Do these things gradually. Because right now, porn storylines, they don't serve Asian interests. What are the classic porn storylines? Let's do some of them. Patient doctor. Patient comes in. It's like, oh my God, hi, doctor. I've got such a headache, big boy. How are you going to get rid of this headache for me? And he's like, will you take 2 paracetamol 4 times a day? You'll be fine. Or she's like, oh my God. My hand is stuck in the photocopier. How are you going to get me out of this, big boy? And he's like, why don't you turn it off and then on again? Maybe I can. Or she gets in the back of a taxi. The rest of the show is this, by the way. Gets in the back of a taxi, notices the cab driver. She's like, oh my God, you're such a hot, sexy cab driver. You want to park the car somewhere, come to the back and fuck me, big boy? And he's like, will you give me 5 stars? It's tough out there, man. And it makes me worry. I worry about the future. I worry about successive Asian generations. Because it's just hard. Like, you've got to be on the right side of everything all the time. Do you know, it costs £250,000 to raise 1 child to the age of 18. None of us are worth that. No one is worth that. And I'm like, shit, man, I don't know if I want it. And those reasons haven't been enough. The main reason I think I don't want to be a parent, genuinely, is other parents. Because I'm in my late 30s now, I've got loads of parent friends, and they are dickheads. Do you have any parents of toddlers in? Yeah, you're the worst gaggle of cunts, honestly. It's just... Because I feel like it's changed. Because when I was a kid, I feel like parents of toddlers, they wanted to make sure the world knew they fucking hated us. But now, parents of toddlers, they feel the need to show that they love their child when they're in public. They talk to them in this really weird tone. They'll be like, Oscar! Like they're surprised they're there. Oscar, we're on a train. Did you bring your bag with you today, darling? I know there are lots of people on the train, aren't there? What's that? You want to press the button even though they're waiting? Don't worry about that, baby. How about I read you a story first, yeah, Oscar? I love you, Oscar. I love you, Oscar. Fuck off. I understand and assume that you love your child. I do this performance parenting. Now, I don't have any children. I've got a little nephew. When I get my nephew along, I think to myself, I don't want to miss out on the opportunity to be a complete dick in public. So I get my nephew, I sit him down, I say, hello, Ali. We are on a train. Did you bring your rucksack with you today? I know there are lots of people on the train. What's that? You want to press the button, do you? All the parents shut the fuck up. There's a woman in the corner going, I don't mean to be wacky. London, you've been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, I cannot believe that I've had the privilege of doing this with my dad in the room as well. It's absolutely amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you very soon. Thank you and good night. Bye-bye.